Hey everyone, we're going to end this week with a quick lesson on how to turn degrees into radians and how to turn radians back into degrees. All right. So we've been over radians into degrees, and radians into degrees for most people are simple. These conversions are simple, and it's simply because when you look at something like 2 pi over 3 radians, and a lot of time people don't even write radians. You automatically assume that 2 pi over 3 is radian because of the pi, right? But if we convert this, some people use the easy strategy of saying, well, this is still 2/3, right? But pi radians is the same as 180 degrees, so I can replace it, all right? So I can replace that. In other words, 2/3 of 180 or 120, right? Or 360 divided by 3, 120. All right, so there you have it. That's how I turn 2 pi over 3 radians into degrees, right? And that's one form. Now, if you want to be consistent with the form, because here in a second I'm going to show you how to change degrees into radians. Technically speaking, you would multiply this by a conversion factor. All right, you take 2 pi over 3 radians and you'd multiply it by 180 divided by pi. All right, because that's 180 degrees. And this is pi radians, all right? So what happens here is that the pi's cancel out, and you are left with 2 times 180 divided by 3, all right? So I show you that just to be technical, but that is the same thing as just replacing your pi with 180, okay? The next thing would be, all right, well, what if I want to turn degrees into radians? All right, turning degrees into radians is not bad at all. So let's say I wanted to turn 30 degrees into radians, all right? You should know that it's pi over 6. All right, so if I have 30 degrees and I want to turn it into radians, well, I'm going to multiply this by the conversion factor of pi radians over 180. So for the other example is 180 over pi. Here it's pi over 180. And here's the reason. Pi radians and 180 degrees. Pi radians and 180 degrees are the same angle, right? So therefore, your conversion factor is basically equivalent to 1. When you multiply a value by 1, you don't change that value. You might change what it looks like, but you don't change the value. Okay, so anyway, 30 times pi over 180. Well, that leaves me 30 pi. Notice how the pi is in the numerator. 30 pi over 180. All right, so this is actually all about just simplifying your fraction. All right, so how many times will 30 go into 180? Well, that's 6 times. So the answer is pi over 6. All right, and that is the way you turn degrees into radians. Multiply by pi over 180. To turn radians into degrees, multiply by 180 over pi, or more easily, replace your pi with a 180, and you've got it.